And here we go. We're starting today's live stream. We're going to speak about Bitcoin. We're going to speak about other cryptocurrencies. And also I'm going to present something very, very interesting. Before that, I want to invite everyone to the live stream. I know we're doing this live stream slightly later than the other times, but there is a very, very important reason for this. There's a very, very important reason. Now, while we're waiting for people to join, let me also push it into the Substack community so people from Substack can join my live stream as well. Stream started. Bam. Wonderful. We are here on Substack as well. Okay, so Cardano gets rejected at the 786 area. Definitely wanted to see the rejection happen here, but in reality, the rejection happened here. But there was a huge wick. Catching those wicks, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's nearly impossible. They look good on paper, but actually catching them in trading, it's very, very complicated. However, what we can do with Cardano, we can definitely catch the tops and bottoms. And Cardano is not sexy. And that is why it's very, very cool to trade something that is actually not sexy. While we're waiting for other people to join, I want to tell you what we're going to speak about. Today, we're going to speak about a couple of stocks because I entered into 2 stock positions. I want to show these positions to you. They might be good for another entry either today or tomorrow when we see this 2-hour cycle indicator below 20. And Nokia Vertiv Holdings, these are the 2 stocks that actually I entered right now. I also wrote an article about them yesterday, so you can find it in the Strategy Master website. Hey Phil, great seeing you, great meeting you here. All right, I would say we start analyzing Bitcoin and we see what is actually happening in the market right now and what we can expect from the market. Bitcoin is not stopping, right? It's not stopping, and that is what I said actually. That is why it is not the best time to enter into short positions right now, especially in Bitcoin or Ethereum, because one very important reason, we have the daily cycle at the very, very top. However, the 3-day cycle is still pushing up and it's going to push up for the rest of the week. That is why this week will be bullish. We use cycle indicators to understand what is actually happening in the market and when can we enter into positions. Now, the good thing is that we touched the 882 level. This time for sure we did. Previous time we're so close and we got rejected, right? And I was like, I don't want to enter the short because I feel that we might have one more push. And that's exactly what happened. We pushed throughout today and also yesterday. We got the first rejection on Friday, but we only retraced 4.5%. And since then, we went up until the $80,000, which is the 882 level if we measure the Fibonacci from the 6th of May, which was the swing high. Now, what is next in the market? Definitely, we have to take a look at the smaller time frame indicators, but we have to see a rejection at 882. Another leg lower, either something like this, but I don't think we have enough time, or then something like this, and then bam, this will be the short zone. Now this, I mean, you can actually enter the shorts. I know that some of you entered into a Bitcoin short, which I think is okay. It's slightly too early, so you have to have enough margin ready, but this 3-day cycle is gonna push the price a little bit higher for the next days, or at least the trend will still appear bullish. Okay, so you cannot really expect the market to fully retrace down. That's not going to happen just yet, except of the daily cycle. The daily cycle is very, very overbought. Now, we got a long signal on Bitcoin. We can go to the 1 hour and we can check it out. How does it look like? BTC right here. Oh, that is interesting. These are always the funniest ones. Look, depending on your risk level, you can either enter into a short or you can enter into a long. That doesn't happen often, but this time it happened. Now, why? Short, because we have clearly the daily cycle top and we must retrace down. In the normal market conditions, we would go down from now. However, these are not normal market conditions, and the 2-hour and 1-hour cycle is extremely important in the bullish market conditions. Now we are in the bullish market conditions. That is why the price goes up when the 2-hour and the 1-hour cycle are going up. Okay, we can see that from here. Today morning, Bitcoin went from 77 up to 80K due to the 1-hour cycle and the 4-hour cycle. So this is not something that you actually want to trade, to be honest. The risk is much, much higher. I prefer to enter into a short position, into a bigger short position, when I see this 3-day cycle topping. And I expect this to happen, as I mentioned, in the first days of September or potentially last days of August next week. yeah, exactly, the beginning of next week. That is where I will be more interested into shorts. Now the market is still bullish. Now, how bullish? Where can we actually go? Look, this is the heat map. We talked about the heat map in the previous live stream on Friday. What changed? What changed? The only thing changed is now we see a little bit, we see a new liquidity cluster. We see a new liquidity cluster at the 83 and the $82,000 area. And this liquidity cluster is quite big one. Okay, we see about 2.5 billion still in the market, and 2.5 billion is a lot. We didn't have this cluster before. Now, this aligns basically pretty much with the thesis that we will range here, bam, one more, and that's it. And then that will be the final. Now, why this can happen? Why this can happen? This would be a typical bearish reversal structure. Here, we had our local top at 81, roughly 81K area. Okay, here we would slightly go above it. We would fully liquidate every single short that exists in the market, literally every single short. Because after this, look, here cumulative shorts at 84, we have over 2 billion. If I look 94, it's just 3 billion, which means there is absolutely no liquidity. Sorry, there is liquidity, but there is no shorts would be foreclosed if we go, let's say, from 84 to 94, which means that market makers have absolutely zero motivation to push the price higher. Also, retail investors might not have enough capital to push the price higher in these market conditions. But below us, again, look at these clusters. So we have about 6 billion just up until 55K. So a lot is at 62, 63, which basically gives me an idea that all this move can be retraced pretty soon in September or the beginning of October. Okay. That is why it's a very dangerous move, to be honest. It's a very dangerous move. That is why I'm not really trading Bitcoin right now, because it's simply too dangerous. I want to see this one more leg up, ideally into the 8-hour, 4-hour, when they will go a bit down. And that's it. And Monday or even this weekend, we would say, okay, now we can actually enter into really, really profitable and good short positions. Some of the short positions might be actually good right now. However, again, they are very risky. Remember, I entered into pump position at somewhere at 3, way below the current market price. And what happened, pump just kept on pumping and it followed daily cycle with precision. Right now, look, is a typical top. 1-day top, 3-day top, 1-week top, 2-week top. So it's fine to be in a short position, but knowing that Bitcoin can pump a little bit more, you want to close your pump trade at the bottom of the 4-hour or 8-hour cycles. And in reality, you would want to close this position when this 1-hour cycle goes below 20. So basically tonight or tomorrow morning, basically, yeah, it's tonight. So you want to close there because bam, you can have one more leg up. Okay, you could have one more leg up if Bitcoin decides to do the same. So again, risky. Rejection at Golden Pocket is actually a quite very popular and very decent rejection place for the weekly cycle. Now, ADA. Again, ADA, amazing token to trade. It is very cool token because look, we just stopped on the daily cycle. You know what's going to happen next. We have to go to the daily cycle lows from here. And ADA pattern is so repeatable. It's always the same. It's always the same, literally. Look at it. There is no difference. There is no difference between those. Hey Honda, how's it going? Great to see you. So you want to trade coins, not the ones that are hot, but the ones that have repeatable patterns. Remember that. I know that many of you want to trade hype, but how can you actually trade hype? Again, we tried shorting it. We realized that it's very bullish. It went to a new all-time high. Sure, it got rejected, but it got rejected even above its entry. Plus, you have a weekly cycle going up. So you don't want to short hype. You really want to enter into a new hype position when this daily cycle goes down. Okay, so hype will move different from Bitcoin. So for example, hype is not really on my radar right now. It will be on my radar potentially when I see this 3D cycle slightly lower. Then I would enter somewhere in the mid of September. I would then enter hype long. But before that, again, it would be very risky to do anything with hype just because of the weekly cycle. ADA is very different. ADA is very different. 3D cycle going down, 1-day cycle going down, 1-week cycle top. So now we are looking to go down. And look, you not necessarily have to hunt for the tops. You can actually enter into short positions when the daily cycle has already topped. And the daily cycle has already topped. And usually what happens, the top happens after a big wick. This is like a crazy example, 786 area. But look, every time we had a wick to the upside, it looked like the market is unstoppable every single time, right? Even now, ADA 25 cents. And just few days ago, like Tuesday, we still had ADA at 17 cents. So 47%, almost half of it. This is really crazy, right? But now you can easily look for ADA shorts because now the trend is confirmed. On the daily cycle, we're going down for ADA. So it is really beautiful. And again, repeatable pattern, the same, you know, a few green candles immediately are switched off. Trend is going down, minus 20% here, minus 20% here, minus 14% here. And in this case, we get again 15%. We will land exactly on the 382. And if you want to look for shorts, then again, remember, we go to the 1 hour and we take a look whether it's now the moment to enter into ADA short. Do you ever trade ZEC? Yes, actually, I traded ZEC some time ago. When did we trade ZEC in the group? We traded ZEC some time ago, but it was, I believe it was around March or February. We can take a look at ZEC as well. Very interesting coin as well. Very, very volatile. Looking at Cardano, for me, I would see also something like this. And the shorts would be at the 4-hour top. Not right now. 4-hour top or 2-hour top. One of those two. You can take one of those two. Either you take the 2-hour top, which will be tomorrow morning, early afternoon, or you simply take the 4-hour, which would be then roughly in more than 24 hours. And then you short it from there because 3 days already going down. Repeatable patterns for ADA, 1 day is above 95. That's a very, very clear short zone. And I don't believe that ADA can actually do something what HYPE does. ADA doesn't do this anymore. It's a token that bleeds against Bitcoin. And let's take a look at ZEC because you mentioned ZEC. Zcash. Where is Zcash? 819. Wow. Really, really impressive SEC. And also doing a top. So very similar to BTC, however, a bit difficult to trade. What we do in this. So how do we actually establish support and resistance levels when you have a new all-time high? There is a strategy for that, right? How would you do that? Of course, closest support is the all-time high. Decent, right? That would be support, $700. But what about beyond that, right? Why we got rejected at 863? There must be a reason, right? Why we got rejected? So what you want to do, there are multiple ways on how to do it. But basically what you would do, you would select a swing high, you would go to a swing low, or actually this is a swing low. I want to see if other exchanges also had this big liquidation candle because I don't like it. I want to make sure that Binance also had it. Fair enough. All right, so you take the Fibonacci tool, the same one that we use every single day. You draw it from swing high to swing low. You establish the Fib levels, quite decent. And then you go to the Fib settings and you simply add the rest of the levels. You add the Fibonacci extension. It's there by default. You don't really have to do anything. You just have to click and add those levels. And what happened now? Wow, we realized that we got rejected exactly at the Fibonacci level, right? So it's not random. Like if I delete this, it looks random. Like you could not say why we went to $859 and then we got rejected there. Like there is no particular reason. You can draw whatever you want in the chart, but you're not really gonna see it. But if we add, God damn it. If you add Fib, you say, that's why we got rejected, because we have 1.414 Fibonacci level. And now we are on another support at 807. We have another support. That is why we're not falling below it. And if we're going to fall below it, well, that's great. Then we're going to go to that all-time high to 700. So at least you can know the levels using the Fibonacci extension tool. Would I trade ZEC right now? No, I wouldn't. 3-day cycle pushing up, knowing that Bitcoin can push a little bit more up. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I feel that the risk is too high simply to short and simply too long. It's exactly what I said. Like, even look at it. Yes, you're going to be at the bottom for the 1 hour, for 2 hour, and 4 hour. So theoretically, yes, you can enter into a long position and you can ride this upside. However, this upside will be very, very short-lived. It won't be another huge leg up. It will be some sort of a leg up, okay? Because we have already 8 hour, 1 day working against us. 1-day cycle was above 80, above 80 already 6 days, and that's a lot. Weekly cycle already above 89. Why would you go into long position when the bullish trend is about to end? Yes, you can go into high risk positions like we did last week with shorting, but these positions must be small. You cannot then, put bigger amount of capital and expect to go on this kind of a last leg up. It's not worth it anymore. If you didn't catch the bigger move, well, that's it. You leave it. Or you enter into a small position and then you basically try to catch this upside. But you cannot really rely, you cannot put big position on it. You cannot or you cannot buy spot here. It doesn't make any sense to buy spot here. If you buy spot, you will almost forced to lose money, because in September we have a downtrend. Remember this, in September we will have a downtrend. We don't know how big it will be. We don't know if we're gonna go to the new lows, but we know that this weekly cycle needs at least a month to fully bottom, at least a month. So September will be bearish. You have to know that. That is why you don't want to buy spot right now. If you bought spot previously, that's cool, but now it's not really the time. Okay, before we go to any other coins, I want to present something that I'm developing right now. That is one of the reasons why we started this stream a little bit late. One of the things that I'm developing, I'm putting all the assets that we can trade on Bitunix into this table. And this table is going to be updated either every 4 hours or once per day. And you can, everybody who's a Strategy Master member can actually use this table for free. Now this table, what this table is going to have, it will have every single token from Bitunix, every single stock and every single tradable asset. And there are many of them. And again, these assets also exist on other brokers. So if you trade other brokers, if you have ETFs, it doesn't really matter, because my goal is to put all the assets that we have into a table. And this table, you can write specific rules and you can filter coins and assets according to those rules. For example, you want to reduce your risk. So you want to trade assets that have their weekly cycle below 20. Okay. And you can also select, for example, this weekly cycle has still to be falling, or it can be already rising. But I mean, that's not really important. What is important is that you want to see weekly cycle below 20. And for instance, daily cycle, you want to see also below 20. You activate this rule, then you're going to find the weekly bottoms or assets that have their weekly bottoms very, very close. And that's it. You don't really have to go to any other website. You don't have to go to TradingView and spend a bunch of times. You also don't necessarily have to wait for entries, for buy signals on the Telegram group or on the SM Arena app. You'll simply see it on the table. My goal is actually to do that. This table has all the assets from Bitunix, and later on we can also add more exchanges. That's totally fine. We could see metals, stocks, crypto, whatever you want. The only thing is that crypto moves in sync. So that is why I'm doing this, because now Bitunix, they have a lot of stocks. They have a lot of traditional finance assets, and they don't move in sync. Some of them do. Of course, some of them, they just mirror S&P 500 or NASDAQ. But some of them, they have their own cycles. And you then basically be able to trade those and jump on an asset that's actually at the weekly cycle bottom. And that's what I did with these two assets. We're going to talk about that as well. That is what I did. I'm going to go through update. No. Everything will be automatic, definitely automatic. So that is why it's taking me some time to develop it. All of this will be automated. It will be updated automatically. Nobody has to touch it. It's on the server. It will be this URL right here, cycletable.vercel.app. Later on, we might just put it on the Strategy Master brand and leave it there. And you will be able to see the current reading and also the rising or the falling direction. And you're also going to see when it was updated for the last time. You click refresh, bam. What's the criteria for stocks or coins to get added? Honestly, the goal is to add everything that we can trade on Bitunix, because my goal is that we all use SM Arena app to place trades, to receive buy and sell signals, to buy and to short or to long. So I will try to put all of them. They're one of the biggest, like most popular stocks. And I know that they also exist on other brokers. So it's good for everyone. Plus they have ETFs and metals. And that's it. And then you go and select whichever asset you want to trade. If you want to trade crypto, that's fine. You stay in crypto. You don't care about others. If you want to trade stocks, you go to stocks and then you check the assets there. So that will be the goal. I'm also going to put some filters, for example, 1 week bottom. Okay. And then you immediately filter everything that has 1 week cycle below 20. And then potentially some other rules, potentially some rules regarding the 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, on the shorter time frame. But most importantly, this will be like, hey, I want to trade assets. I want to long assets only that have their weekly cycle below 20 or have their weekly cycle rising right now. And you will be able to do that. And what's the criteria for removal? Well, as simple as that. I mean, if Bitunix not going to provide prices or candlesticks for us, well, then we simply remove it or we stop sending data there. That's it. So right now we use Bitunix API to get all the stocks and all the assets. That's it basically. If you want to have some specific functionality, let me know, because I'm working on this right now this week. If you think that something would be useful, you have some specific ideas, just let me know either right now or simply on Telegram within today, tomorrow, and I'm going to implement this as well. It will help all of us to choose the right assets, to understand what kind of risk we have. And maybe I will also implement like risk, risk column. So then you can understand, because now we are talking, hey, what about ZEC? What about XRP? What about BTC? Reality is that each of these assets has different risk level. For example, Cardano has a lower risk because it simply moves into predictable daily cycles. Regardless of its weekly cycle, it still does exactly the same thing. So it's automatically low to medium risk asset. While ZEC or HYPE, who already did the new all-time high, well, they are high risk assets because they're more volatile. They're more volatile. They can go to all-time high and then it becomes less predictable. So you can actually request some features. We're going to implement them right here. Litecoin. Cool. Let's come back to the chart and let's take a look at the LTC. Can we trade LTC right now? Well, also pretty interesting chart. We're getting rejected at the golden pocket. Same thing. You see, almost all assets are going through the same. They are getting rejected either at 786, some of them 882 like BTC, or at the golden pocket. And that's the clearest rejections that you can get. Like, Litecoin, there's a very high chance that even though the 3D cycle is rising up, we might just stay here and then continue going down and then potentially make new lows. Okay. And we'll say, hey, remember the weekly cycle got rejected at the golden pocket. That's very, very probable. That's very probable. Now, also, do you want to trade Litecoin? What you want to do, you want to go to Litecoin against BTC chart and you want to understand whether it's time to trade it. And what is interesting is that we have 2 weekly cycle, which is breaking right now. We have weekly cycle, which is going down. 3D kind of wants to go up, but fails. And daily cycle also about to fail or about to reach 80. The price is definitely going down. So, which means that Litecoin is going to underperform Bitcoin. What does it mean? It basically means that Litecoin would be a good coin to short. Litecoin would be a good coin to short right now, simply because it's going to underperform BTC. So even though BTC is going to go up, Litecoin either going to stay at the same price level or slowly going to go up or even going to fall. But if Bitcoin starts falling, which it will, well, Litecoin going to get destroyed in the next couple of weeks. So this is definitely an interesting asset. Is it possible to hold a live stream at the same time every time? I'm a bit late again. Yeah, we will probably start doing this. I'll do this after my vacation. I'm going to go on vacation this weekend and then somewhere from mid-September, we're going to start doing live stream at the same time. I'm also going to schedule the live stream so people can know the exact time. They potentially can plan some time if they want to. And then we're also always going to start at the same time. I'm also going to do some emergency live streams. For example, sometimes when something is interesting happening in the market, we can also jump and then we can see which trades I'm taking. Now, before we actually continue with your questions, I want to show the trades that I'm currently taking. So I'm in a long position for VRT and for Nokia, the ones that I posted also in our chat. I entered basically on Sunday night. Since then, both assets retraced roughly 2 to 3%. And they represent now a very, very interesting entry opportunity. I want to take a look at both of them. So first of all, let's take a look at Nokia on the 1 hour time frame. Again, kind of a lot of cycles at the bottom, but very simple. Weekly cycle going up, 3D cycle still going up, 1-day cycle bottoming. So if not today, Nokia should bottom then tomorrow. And it's very probable that we're going to bottom tomorrow because look, we have 4-hour cycle at the bottom, 2-hour cycle kind of wants to fall down, and that would be the perfect bottom. 1-hour cycle already at the bottom. We are at the 618 golden pocket. I entered slightly, I entered at 0.5, so slightly early. Now Nokia represents even a better purchase. So either you can enter right now, which is currently a golden pocket, quite a good entry, or if you want to wait, you can wait for this 2-hour cycle to drop slightly further tomorrow. I don't expect that we're gonna go down more, and the biggest reason is because we have a weekly cycle which is going up. So I want this uptrend to continue. We want this uptrend to continue. We want to see Nokia actually above 11, closer to $12 for the next couple of weeks. Okay. We went a little bit more, that we actually went to 618. That's exactly a retracement that you can expect of an uptrending market. You don't want to go below. If you're going to go below the golden pocket, well, it means that the trend is weak. Okay. And then what might happen, we might do a very like poor daily cycle. The next one, we might only go to like, let's say 10.4, 10.3, and then go to the 3-day cycle bottom. And then this 1 week would break. This is possibility, definitely a possibility, but the risk is lower. So for example, the risk of this asset is lower because we are now at the daily cycle bottom. We have 1 week cycle going up. And this is why I'm creating this application actually, to find assets like this. Because in order to find Nokia, I had to go through many different assets to find something that is, hey, I like the cycles. I like the daily bottom. I like the uptrend of the 1 week. I also like that weekly cycle had a proper retrace. Bam. We went from roughly $17 up to $9. We retraced 50%. And that's not a cryptocurrency for you. That's a stock. You can trade the stock either with leverage or without leverage. You can buy spot on Bitunix. It's very easy, very simple. And that is the reason why I enter. Because looking at this chart, I like this chart really. We can even do a trend line right here and see that, hey, this was the weekly cycle bottom. Bam, right here. Now, 2 weekly cycle is also at the bottom, which is additional confirmation for me to enter into Nokia. So it is very clean looking chart. We didn't break it. And unless we break it, I expect this guy to actually continue up, potentially 11, and then maybe even more up, 12, and then continue up. Okay, that is my expectation. Now, the worst that can happen to Nokia is obviously, let's say we break this level, go to 786 and start the daily cycle late, or we go to 882 level, right? Then have a very poor daily cycle, just come back to 9, let's say, or to 9.5, and then break it. And then 3D cycle goes down, weekly breaks. Well, we could have that. Definitely we could have that. But you will have time to exit. We will have time to exit because this daily cycle is at the bottom. And I want to show you also, in contrast to many cryptos, we do a bottom on the daily, we jump up. Even in the very bearish conditions, you see, this is a bearish condition. Everything is still falling. That was just a month ago. We still went up from the bottom roughly by 11%. So daily cycle of 11% is very decent. You have enough time to exit the market if you want to. Same here, see? Daily cycle bottom, it looks ugly, right? But look, it gave us almost 10%. Actually gave us over 10%. So you have time to exit. You see a big green candle, cool. Daily is breaking, you exit the position. That's it. So the same thing now. I want to see a decent green candle, ideally going above 10 or 11. If I see smaller green candles not making all-time highs, cool. I'm just going to exit this asset. I'm going to look for another one. That is why. Oh yeah, invalidation. That's a really good one. So if the daily breaks, basically I would have two invalidations here. Let's say if we retrace more. You see, on the weekly cycle, you don't want to see big retracements. You want to simply follow a structure. And this would be this structure. For example, BAM. You see a very clear structure. You would like to go the same direction. Pam, 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 pam. You want to see the same kind of uptrend because it's a stock. The charts are different, right? Look at this. Pam, 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 pam. This is what you want to have when the weekly is going up. You don't want to have any surprises. The same here. So in case we fall down, for example, we fall to the 882 level. For me, that would be, okay, I don't like it. I'm going to sell on the next 1-day high or at the next 4-hour high. I'm going to look to sell after some kind of a bounce because then we might go lower. So I want to see now continuation into the upside at 10, 11, 12 dollars for Nokia. Right, this is actually the right chart. It's currently at 10. So it's basically roughly at my entry right now. And the daily cycle bottom. I like the daily bottom, I like the weekly uptrend, and I like the 2 weekly cycle below 20. And if I go back to the past, I can see that this asset follows these cycles pretty well. Weekly starts, and then the uptrend starts. And then when the 2 weekly bottoms, we already, not very far from the bottom, but we already, 12% from the bottom. Kind of a similar situation we have right now. We are 17% from the bottom. 2 weekly cycle is at 7, showing that, okay, this trend is going to continue for the next 3-4 months, right? That's what we have. Plus, we had I would say, healthy retracement, right? We really retraced a lot. We went up a lot, and then we retraced a lot as well. So for me, it's a decent asset to enter, and I want to see some pretty good signs for Nokia. You could do a Fibonacci to the top. I didn't do it, but we might check it out as well. Yeah, 786. Yeah, looks good. We got 786, and now I would like to see 11.85. Really, that's next level. That's really my target. Now, what I did for Nokia, so I actually set a take profit price at 1080 is just in case we do a 1 week up and it triggers overnight. But again, you don't have to do this take profit. You might just leave it without take profit and simply wait until the daily cycle top. On the stocks, it takes a little bit more time to print a daily cycle top. One daily cycle takes longer than on crypto, simply because the daily cycles are counted for working days from Monday to Friday. Now, stocks like Nokia are also traded in extended hours, and right now they're also traded so-called 24 trading hours. So if you wanted those, you basically go down. Now you cannot really see them. So you can only see them when the market is closed. So now the market is open, you cannot really see them. But when the market is closed, at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see 24 hours and extended hours. That's a very, very important thing. So if you trade stocks, I always prefer to stay on the original chart. I always prefer to stay on the original chart. It always has the highest win rate if you apply cycles. So just remember that. If you tell me some stock which has some closed market, we can take a look at it. But now New York market is open. So only market that is closed is an Asian market or Korean market. So maybe Sony. No, Sony is New York Stock Exchange. No. If we have something on the Korean market or China market, you can just let me know. No stock comes to my mind right now. But if you have something in your mind, let me know. Then we can take a look. But when you're checking stocks, 3350, okay? Let's take a look. Metaplanet. Market is closed. Yeah, market is closed. But what is it listed? It's listed in the TCE. Is it what? The Asian exchange. They don't have the extended hours for this. You cannot trade it. Yeah, but you cannot trade extended hours. That's the thing. You can only trade extended hours in New York session or the ones that are listed in the New York Stock Exchange or here in Europe. So that's the thing. Anyways, you're gonna see here extended trading hours. You click on it, and then you simply select 24 hours or extended hours. And you're going to see cycles, very different cycles. So for example, now we will see a daily top. Potentially there will be a daily bottom. So you'll be like, what the heck? Which one I should use? I use the original chart. If you want more signals, you use the 24 hours. Don't use the extended one. Use the 24 hours if you want more signals. You will find more signals, but then you have to do more filtering. Because these signals, they will have very extended cycles. Some of them very extended. Okay, so it will be harder to trade. Something like that. Yeah. So that's also important to notice. Great. And then we take a look at the other one, VRT, Veltec Holdings. Veltec Holdings, basically same thing. I really like how it looks like right now. From the bottom, we just touched the golden pocket today. Again, I entered slightly too early. I entered at 0.5. Now we touched the golden pocket. It acted as support. We are entering daily oversold territory. Same thing. 2 weekly cycle at the bottom, weekly cycle going up. I want basically to go here, 269, potentially something like this, bam, and then we go to the new highs. Okay, that is my expectations. I want to make a lot of money from these investments, especially now at Bitunix. You can use a little bit of leverage here. I'm using 5, I'm using 10. However, again, we're going to talk about leverage. This time, I'm not playing high risk like we did with the short position. The short positions, they were pretty high risk because we had some kind of a liquidation price. Now we don't have a liquidation price. simply because my position size is smaller relative to my capital. So I have about 10K right now, and my position size is only $3,000. So it's much, much smaller. That is why whatever happens in the market, I cannot really get liquidated. That is actually how you should trade. And that's how I trade my capital, always. If I want to do a high risk, sure, then we can play with bigger position size. So again, also to talk about leverage, I saw that some of you guys in the group joked about, hey, you know, somebody is using 10x leverage, someone is using 50x leverage. So leverage doesn't show how risky the trade is. You have to remember that. Leverage doesn't show how risky your trade is. Leverage says nothing about the trading style. It can be 100x leverage, but you can only use 0.1% of your capital. And which basically means that your risk is pretty small, okay? If you use 70% of your capital and then on top you use leverage, well, then it's very risky. But right now, for example, these trades are low risk because I'm still below my capital. My capital is 10K. My margin is less than 10%, is 9%. So right now I'm using 9% of my capital for these two trades. Okay, so it's fine. And I can adjust the leverage and my margin would change. So if I do 1x right now, I'm basically gonna increase my margin to 3,000. But in the end, it's still the same. Everything is still the same. Nothing really changes, okay? So this leverage doesn't really matter. What matters is the margin relative to how much you have in your portfolio. Okay, if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Extended Alt-Shift-E, yeah, sure, but not all of them have extended right now. Not all of them, they have extended. Yeah, right now we don't have extended because it's over. Great, now let's say, yeah, position size is more important, exactly. It's the most important one. It's most important because see, liquidation price is zero, it's nothing, it's nothing. It can go down to 0.01 and I will still be okay with my portfolio. And that's most important. So always take a look at your liquidation price, and then if it's close enough to your entry price, something is off. Then you have to really pay attention to your margin. That's how you don't get liquidated. That's how you don't give money to the market makers. I gave money to the market makers last week with my shorts, and it's funny, but I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, so let's come back to VRT. That is what I expect from the market. Basically, you see very similar behavior to Nokia. We retraced from the top. This time we retraced 40%, so slightly more bullish than Nokia. Nokia retraced 50%, and we retraced into the 2 weekly lows and the weekly lows and the 3-day lows. That was kind of the ultimate low. And if you catch that, you're a god level. You're a god level. But you know what? We're gonna be able to catch those trades once we have this ready. And this is gonna be ready this week. So everybody who's watching this video, who's watching this live stream, you will get access, obviously taking into consideration that you are a part of Strategy Master community, you're gonna get access to this board with all the tokens, all the stocks, everything, every single asset that exists on Bitunix. And you will be able to see, create custom rules, and potentially also run alerts. But again, this requires a lot of servers, so we will see if we do it. But every single day, you just go to this website and check, bam, one button, and you will see every single asset which is at the weekly cycle low. Because ideally, what we want to have going forward, we want to spend less time trading, less time investment. We just want to enter into trades like this. Bam, you enter here, and then you don't give a damn where the market is going. You made 100%, cool. You made 20%, it's cool. You have so much time ahead of you. You have the whole weekly cycle. You have the whole 2 weekly cycle to sell. You have months and months of time to sell. And this fits two models. This fits leverage investors, the ones who want to, let's say, trade future contracts. And it fits the ones who actually trade spot. And this is very important criteria. And it's very important for me because I know that now we're going to start bull market pretty soon. We're going to end bear market for stocks if we are in any. And then you want to have assets and you simply want to ride them potentially for months. You want to double, triple, and do 4x of your portfolio. Because weekly cycle and the daily cycle bottoms, they are very powerful. Very powerful. Here, for example, another one. Isn't that a great example? Here, for example, we had weekly cycle at 19.27. So in the table, you would immediately see it at the very top. And this would be like the pick bottom. The pick bottom. And just imagine, you entered here, you don't give a damn what happens next. You don't even, you forgot your asset, it's cool, you still plus 80%. Even if you forgot your asset for like months, half a year, you're still in a plus because you bought the pick bottom. And that's what we're going to target. Right now, I notice that myself, I enter into assets sometimes slightly too late. I have to hunt them. Like today, for example, I hunt those 2 stocks. But I want to even improve the efficiency. So I'm really happy that we're going to have this product and everybody will be able to use it. Those who are in Strategy Master community here as well. Another one. Sure, after that, we went down by 25%. That's ugly. But you have to understand, if you enter near the bottom, that's good enough. That's simply good enough. Because immediately after that, 80%, 100% profit, and so on. And it's for many, many stocks. And crypto, obviously. So Meta, for example, probably the same thing. You see, Meta will be a great buy somewhere by towards end of September. It still could be a good buy right now. Gonna go up. You see, oh, very predictable cycles, by the way. Look at Meta. Look at Meta. We have liquidation, 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 liquidation. Bam, up, bam, bam. So actually, you could trade Meta as well. I didn't pay much attention to it before. And we definitely gonna bounce up. But this bounce will get reversed. Meta will go down. Meta will not bounce from here. You have to understand that. Meta will not bounce because weekly cycles going down, 2 weekly cycles going down. So we will not gonna go up from here, most likely. And you want to wait until this weekly is below 20, 2 weekly below 20, and then this 3-day does one more run. Bam! Somewhere beginning of October, end of December, we want to have this pick a bottom for Meta. And this could be our challenge. Let's enter pick a bottom at Meta. Let's just enter into this awesome trade. You know, because we can, because we have cycles and we literally can do it. Look, bam, this. I have actually 2 entries here. Bam. You see, April 2025. Here November 2025. So these don't happen often. It happens once, twice a year, but you want to get those, because then look how long you entered it to bottom. You could miss the top. You would be minus 5% after holding after a year of bearish markets. You still close to your break even. Well, this is awesome. These kind of trades we want to get, and this table will give us all of these trades. All of this, and bam, you just need like 5 seconds to open it up and see all the stocks and all the crypto that are the weekly bottoms. I mean, we're gonna liquidate the market makers, not they're gonna liquidate us. We're gonna liquidate the market makers. This will be very, very awesome. I'm so bullish on this tool like crazy. I'm gonna get it done by this week for sure. So if you wanna know something, if you have some suggestions, just let me know, and I will add them. Risk, some specific rules, potentially some alerts, something that you would like to see on this website, let me know. It will be a great addition to the SM arena. All right, let's see if we have any. Oh, Leadbeater, finally you're joining. That's awesome. Great. You can always choose. Yeah. All right. Now we talked about VRT. We talked about Nokia. We talked about Meta. Let's take a look at gold. I know some of you are trading gold. I sold my gold position. And actually, I sold it at the right time. We are approaching the top. I know that some of you want to short gold, but again, I want to tell you one thing. I want to tell you that this 2 weekly cycle will be going against us. So, yes, we can enter into a gold short. Most probably we're going to do it, but it will not be a low risk position. It will be medium risk, at least medium risk. You could actually enter into a gold short right now. 786. Yeah, like I wrote in the newsletter, basically right here you would like to get a rejection. If you get 882 on the weekly top, that's very easy. But again, it will be a you're going against the longer term trend. Now, what I expect from gold, the same what I expect from BTC. Really the same. I expect a rejection lower. And now it's so hard to imagine, like, look at this chart. Can you believe me? Well, no, you cannot believe me that gold will somehow do minus 25%. But that is what I expect from really from gold. And I believe that we have to do this. We have to liquidate every long that's still left in the market. Here, people will be already afraid to buy gold. Everybody, even you, everybody will be afraid to buy gold. And that is when we're going to buy gold. October, November, that is when we're going to buy gold in even bigger quantities. Because gold and silver charts, they repeat themselves, right? So they repeat. And this is basically, let's say 2020, 2011, Same thing, we are topping. Okay, we're topping on the 2 weekly, 3-day. Great. Then we go down, same as we did right now. And then we have 1 or 2 cycles that are bullish. So for example, this is 3-day top. Weekly cycle, it didn't even touch 80. It started going down. That is what I believe is coming now for gold. That is what I believe we are. Looking at the past, we are somewhere in this area. Okay, so longs is very, very dangerous. And then sure, we can fall down. Then we can continue the run. Even the better chart would be this one. Look how long actually gold needs to come back to the bullish trend. It's not the cryptocurrency. Many of you think it's like, oh, just it's like crypto. It's not like Bitcoin. No, gold is much, much slower. So it can stay at the same level for a very long time, for a very, very long time. And only then it can lose this level. So I also saw the Substack that one of you posted, about time-based capitulation. And that's true mostly for crypto. That's true mostly for crypto. But look, 2 years above that level, you see, you have a financial asset that's 2 years above a certain level. You're pretty sure that it's not going to break this level, right? You're pretty sure. What happens next? Bam, minus 23% for gold, even more than that. Minus 27. But not only minus 27. 2 more years of bearish action. So you waited roughly 2 years, and then you have another 2 years of bearish action. So be aware when you read articles that say, hey, time-based capitulation. For crypto, that's true because crypto has different cycles. Crypto has a 4-year cycle, and this 4-year cycle can become slightly shorter. That is true. But for assets like gold, I mean, the uptrend can be very, very long. A secular bear market over 7 years. And the same for the bearish market. That is why it's not surprising if we're going to do something like this. Absolutely not surprising if we do this. And this won't be that fast. This will be much, much slower. My price target for gold, gold is in a bull market. You have to understand that. Gold is started its bull market when we started, 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2022. This was the start of the bull market. Bam. We have roughly 7-8 years of bull. So we have a few years more left. Gold, I would say, definitely a price target around 8, 9K, 10K, something like this. So that is the price target for gold. If you have spot gold and you feel not selling right now, you don't really want to risk. What if we don't fall to 3.6, right? It's fine. If your holding horizon is long, it's fine because we're in a bull market. But a retracement is very, very possible as well. And from there, you know what's going to happen. Many, many years of the bear market. Many, many, many years. Yeah. So look at this, right? 2011, 2015. No, actually, nothing happened until 2018. So 7 years of nothing, of lost decade, basically. Right? These ones, this was a bull market still. On the 90s, same thing. Many, many years, 6, 7 years, 7 years, 8 years, and then we continue going up. So enjoy the gold, but don't get over leveraged as well. Oh man, Shay loves crypto. Awesome, fantastic. That is great. I hope you also use cycle indicators to trade, and then you find your best entries using those. Let's take a look at silver. Silver looked a bit more bearish. As I mentioned in my newsletter, I hope that everybody's reading the newsletter. Newsletter is the most important one because newsletter is not like 5-minute analysis. This is what we do, is basically a 5-minute analysis. I just take a look at asset. I have experience. I know how this asset looks like from the past, and then I do analysis based on it, but I can definitely be wrong. But on the newsletter, I spend hours, days actually writing the newsletter. It takes a long, long time. And this is where I said, okay, 69 is the selling zone for silver. And look at this. This is exactly what happens. Daily cycle top. We could still bomb. We could definitely do one more, but already taking profits. That's what I said yesterday. Take profits on silver position on metals. When I say metals, I meant primarily silver and gold and gold miners, silver miners. I didn't mean palladium, platinum, or copper. I didn't analyze those in the last days. Was that stock? Lighter, sure. I don't know why Nightbot actually silenced you. It's fine. You asked for lighter. That's not a big deal. Nightbot is very, very funny. No disassembly required. That's fun. Okay, let's take a look at lighter. Oh, god damn it. Yeah. So you look for longs for these assets. Remember, you don't look for shorts. And again, look at this. Why did we got rejected? Would you be able to explain why we got rejected at $3.58? Like looking at this chart, like why? Why here? Why not here? Why not here? Why here? In exactly here, right? Like what? This is just 83%. This is 200%. Why? Well, again, Fibonacci. Fibonacci is the answer. It's exactly the double from the previous one. You see, bam, bam. It's really fun. So when we go to all-time highs, you can apply Fibonacci extension, and you can then find those zones. You can understand where will be the next resistance zone. So right now for lighter, the next is 3.9. We're gonna get some rejection there. Yes, we're gonna get some rejection at 3.9 for lighter. I believe it's going higher. I really like this weekly cycle. It's reversing right now, and potentially lighter like hype can go on a bullish run even though Bitcoin falls down. So we'll do something like this for lighter. Yeah, Fibonacci level. This is 2 basically, or it's 2 point. Yeah, it's exactly, it's 2. So $3.58 is where we got rejected. And how we did this fib, again, remember, from the swing high to the swing low, okay? And we got the extension. If you don't have this extension, if you use the same but you don't get this extension, you simply go here and click these checkboxes, just mark these checkboxes, and you will see the future support and resistance levels. It's math, but somehow it works, right? It's fun. It's really fun. Oops. Yeah. That's what it is. And probably the retracement was also a golden pocket or something, a 382. Oh yes, yeah, that's really nice. I mean, in the future we would ideally like to find assets like this, because if the retracement ends here or ends here, basically before the 0.5, this is a very bullish retracement. This is a very bullish retracement. Usually with crypto, we retrace the golden pocket or 786, and in bearish conditions 882. But in bullish conditions, you retrace usually to the golden pocket. And you never know actually if you're gonna go below or not. But when you see the 3-day low, 1-day low, god damn it, you wanna try and take it. You wanna try and take it. For example, at BTC. At BTC, let me just take a look. And we're gonna take a look at oil as well. I think oil, we didn't talk about oil for a very long time. This was much more harder because it was 0.5. 0.5 is basically in the middle, it's nothing. And we tagged it 1, 2, 3 times. So this was a bit harder. That's why my position was smaller for BTC. But if I would know about lighter, and lighter is 382, I would enter into lighter, because then you understand which asset is more bullish than other, right? Otherwise, you don't know which asset is more bullish than other. You just guess, maybe NEAR, maybe ADA, maybe XRP. How can you know? But if you apply Fibonacci and you say, oh, it's a 382, while BTC is, let's say, golden pocket or 0.5, well, that asset is more bullish. It's like, you know this quietly. But this was RSI divergence. This was different thing. So XRP. I'm sure I'm going to buy XRP at 80 cents. Like, I'm really, really sure. I'm sure about it. So my goal was to buy XRP for as lowest price as possible. XRP is the first coin I bought, and basically I buy XRP in every bear market, because XRP does the same on the 4-hour scale. It just comes back down. You see, even before 2017, it was the same, 20 cents right here. Here we went to 30 cents, slightly below 30 cents, and stayed at this level for a very long time. Here we just went to $1. It's not a bottom. It's not a bottom for XRP. Definitely not a bottom. So also don't be an XRP bull, because you're gonna get wrecked. You're gonna get wrecked in this. Look at this. Bam! We can go up by 90% and then we come down. So that's what I expect now for XRP. And as I mentioned to you before, my first buying zone for XRP really is this box right here, below 90 cents, somewhere around between 70 to 85 cents. I have also an article about that, why this level is important and why the bear market should actually end around this level for XRP. It's definitely not the time to buy spot, although this asset is super bullish on the short term. All right, do we have any more questions? You can choose always. Hello. Oh, message deleted by Nightbot. Nightbot deleted so many of your messages. That's crazy. What's the so if we get a lower low? Okay, I answered all the questions. Let me know if you have any other questions right now. Let me know if you have any other questions. We can take a look. We're still there. Nokia is at $10. Vert is at 255. It's at Fibonacci Golden Pocket. These are only the two trades that I currently have running. I don't have crypto trades right now. They're too of a high risk. We can take a look at ETH, actually, my favorite coin. My favorite coin, same thing. We are struggling here. And we're going to struggle for every single coin. You're going to see this bullish bull market fading away. 2.5, and where we are right now, what is this chart? We're at 2.5. Come on. Okay, it's 24 hours. So if I use 3 months, I can see where Ethereum might go in the 3 months. We have cluster 2. Oh, you see nothing. We have nothing above us. I have really nothing above us for about 6 months. I'm very, very afraid of longs right now. Very afraid. There's literally nothing above us. At only this cluster, 2,560. So 2,560, slightly higher. Just slightly higher. And I wouldn't be surprised. Look, red candle right now, daily goes down tomorrow. Bam. Then for the rest of the week, bullish. Imagine if we go bullish to the weekend. And we're going to go bullish to the weekend. And here we do a final top. And then the next week, bam, we start the... Nobody would expect that, because after roughly 2 weeks of bullish action, you don't expect to reverse everything down. It's impossible to expect that. But once this 3-day cycle hits 80, well, that's it. The show's over. You know, everybody's going home. That is why it's a risky territory right now. We have to understand. We can long, but we long a little bit, and we missed already. Let's say we didn't miss. We longed. We made some profits. That's fine. But we are already past this longing area. We are now in this last period. So here you want to pay a lot of attention. And only if you long, you basically use 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour cycles. That's it. You use those cycle indicators. Bam. 4 hour going down, 4 hour going up. These two guys going down. Yes. Okay. Exactly what I said. Basically, 4 hour will go down. Most likely 1 and 2 days. It's probably going to break tonight. And then we're going to have another long opportunity, kind of the last long opportunity. 8 hour bottom, 4 hour bottom. We're going to have 2 hour, one of those will be at the bottom. So this will be the long opportunity. Maybe we'll come here to 2.2. This last one into the weekend, into the next Monday, and here down. This is basically what I see. That's why I don't see any valid trade. If I'm going to short, why would I short if I expect the market to continue going up in the next days? I wouldn't really. Why would I short if I expect 2 hour, 1 hour cycle to shoot one more time up? No, and longing also doesn't make sense. Shorting in September would make sense, would make a lot of sense, yes. A lot of sense. You can open a short trade, let's say on 1x or 2x leverage, not more than that, if you're using isolated, and then simply let it play for the next month. You can do that. This is possible. You simply short, you increase your position if we go higher, and then you short into the lower prices and you make plenty of money. This is definitely possible. All right, we have NVIDIA and we have TSL. I can look at those as well. So for NVIDIA, okay, so NVIDIA is stopping really. Bam, bam. NVIDIA is better short than long. I think we talked about NVIDIA actually some time ago, right? We talked about NVIDIA. Yeah, we talked about NVIDIA end of June. I remember some of you wrote a message and we were at the 2 weekly top and weekly bottom. And I said that we're going to have some impulse up, but most probably not going to make new all-time high. That's exactly what happened. So we did not make a new all-time high. It's clear that we are topping and we're going to go lower for NVIDIA. So we can have one more bounce and then I expect this to go lower. Could we go and make a double top? Oh yes, we can. We could go, especially if let's say the earnings will be bullish then we would go on one more high. I want to see fib retracement. More likely, if we go up, we're going to go to the 882, 786, come back to golden pocket, and then get rejected there. Potentially, you don't want to enter shorts at the daily bottom. I would not enter shorts right now. Too risky. I would wait for the daily to go up and then short the heck out of it. Short the heck out of it. Going down. And also, if we're going to get this real bearish market, I want to see price below $160, $150. Yeah. So again, this earnings report will be very short-lived. So imagine if earnings report is negative, you go straight down. If earnings report is positive, you're going to have temporary jump up. Look at this way. Okay. TSL. Oh, you mean Tesla, or you mean what exactly mean? What TSL? Tesla, probably meant Tesla. Okay, so for Tesla, we have weekly cycle going up and the daily top. The daily did not actually top, but we got rejected here. We got rejected. Interesting. Well, we at 0.5, so most probably we're gonna go a bit higher. Most probably we're gonna go a bit higher before a rejection. I would like to see Tesla a bit higher. If not from this level, then maybe from this level. Tesla is bullish. Its weekly cycle is going up, so in generally it's bullish. I sold my holdings on Tesla because I know that it's gonna reverse down. And the next weekly low will be very, very cool for Tesla to buy. But anyways, we have to go a little bit higher for Tesla. We still have to go a little bit higher. Tesla likes patterns. You want to see something like this, potentially $382. Rejection there. Rejection this level, and then we're going to go down. Okay. In the 2 weekly low. Because the 2 weekly cycle is bearish. It's pretty bearish. It's very bearish because we just went above 80 and then immediately continued going down. And that is why. So that's for Tesla. And Tesla again would be such an amazing buy. Like in September, October. No, October, November. I would say October, November. It will be an amazing buy because we're gonna have again 2 weekly cycle bottom, 1 week cycle bottom, and then again 100-200% profit from there. Weekly cycle bottoms are very, very important for Tesla. Tesla is kind of an easy asset to trade. It's an emotionally asset, and cycles do very well with emotionally assets. Cycles don't do well with fake demand. This is what is a fake demand. Oh, by the way, look, quite good, right? I did this 3 months ago. Quite good. We nailed roughly the top. We nailed the direction of the market. But that was understandable, right? I mean, everybody of you who is using the cycles, you could also do that. I saw I did this in May. You could also do exactly the same thing because we had weekly cycle top. So I thought, okay, weekly cycle is going to go down and I'm going to do one more high. And that's exactly what happened. And this high is not really a big high just because we have 2 weekly cycle going against us. So longer term trend is going against us. It's pushing us down already, pushing us down, pushing us down, pushing us down. So weekly is trying to keep up, 3 days trying to keep up, daily is trying to keep up. But the bigger force, the Godzilla, is the 2 weekly cycle. And the Godzilla is going to bring everything down. So S&P 500 are going to go down and most probably going to take many other stocks down with it. What price will Ethereum reach if Bitcoin goes to 84? Again, what did I do? Again, very hard to tell me about the price. Like if you want to know this, you know what to do. You go to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. You first take a look at, okay, how is Ethereum doing against Bitcoin? Is Ethereum increasing right now or most likely to increase more against Bitcoin, or is likely to decrease? And looking at this, I can spot weekly and 2 weekly tops right here. So Ethereum already topped against Bitcoin. That's what most likely. Ethereum most likely has topped against BTC. So Bitcoin is going to go up. Ethereum is going to go up slower. So if BTC is going to 40.84, Ethereum most likely is going to go to this liquidation 2.5. What do we have it? Roughly 2.560. So what price Ethereum is now? Yeah, so Ethereum is most likely go a little bit higher, like 5%, 4% higher, most likely. So it's going to underperform BTC because weekly has stopped. 2 weekly has stopped. We're going to go down. This run is over. Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin for this summer. Summer is over. Ethereum outperformance against Bitcoin is also over. When is the next one? Next bull market in November. Yeah, that's it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Similar to here, right? Look, remember last year, August. Oh, that was great. I mean, Ethereum made so much money the last summer. It was really great. Weekly cycle top to weekly cycle top. From there, months and months of underperformance against BTC. In reality, 1 year, almost 1 year of underperformance. And still, it's underperforming. And still, compared to last year, is underperforming. So maybe a new low, and only then. So before October, I wouldn't say that I will not accumulate Ethereum before October. I want to wait for the weekly cycle to go below 20 against BTC. And then Ethereum will be the perfect buy. Perfect buy. So we wait for October, potentially November. And then Ethereum will be a perfect buy because when the new bull market starts, Ethereum is going to go more up than BTC. I say, why it's going to go more up? Because it had a huge underperformance against BTC. Like it will have already 1 year of underperformance. And then again, this thing will start. Again, bam, green candle after green candle, green candle after green candle. Yeah. 382. Oh, okay, nice. See where we topped. We topped at 382. To the dollar. To the dollar. Like, look at this. To the dollar. That's beautiful. That's the beauty of Fibonacci. That's why I started using Fibonacci a lot. Sometimes even more than POC levels. POC levels are great. Time price opportunity indicator is great, especially if you select 2 weekly or monthly. You really get good results. You really get good results. Not on these charts, basically. You can take a look, for example, ETH chart. And we use the 2 weekly POC point. Value area high. POC. We have a bunch of POC. Look. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? That's beautiful. We just talked one thing. We just talked that there is a lot of, not a lot of, but we have a decent liquidation cluster at 2,560. I go to the Ethereum chart and I take a look at the POC levels. Where we have the most POC levels? This area right here. Where this area actually is, it's 2,560. Okay, so again, we have two confirmations of a potential top for Ethereum. 2,560. Well, it can be a local top, of course. The next one, here, the next one, 2,821. Yeah, but that's cool. US 30, you want to take a look at the US 30? Sure. By the way, guys, I want to remind you one important thing. If you want to trade like me, if you want to understand where the market is going, regardless of the asset, you have to do two things. You go to the strategymaster.io or strategymaster.substack.com. This is where you get the access to all the indicators. The indicators are pretty simple. They're cycle indicators. They're cyclical. You select the time frame. For example, here we have the daily, we have 3-day, we have 1 week and 2 weeks. And you apply this. You can even, if everything is too complicated for you, you can actually use only weekly. And only weekly is good enough already to understand where the trend is going. Okay? And you understand, oh, damn, the reading of the indicator shows 96. That is the top. So now you know that this area is most likely a top area for Ethereum. Most likely, we're not gonna go much up right now. Most likely, okay? Same as this area was the area for top in May, a couple of months ago. Same as this area in January was the top. Of course, we expected 1 more week, a little bit more upside, but that was the top. The weekly cycle shows you where the top is. Okay, you just follow the cycle indicators. So you go to the strategymaster.io, you click unlock access gear here, and you get access to the cycle indicators. Apart from that, you get access to many more important things. Much more stuff. You get gold cycles, especially if you trade gold. You can take a look right now, actually, how this indicator works. So let's take a look at that right now. For that, we need to switch to the 12-hour cycle. We go to gold, and then you remove this one. And if you're a Strategy Master member, you click gold cycles. And this basically answers the question, would you buy gold or not? And if it goes to the upper part, to the green zone, this is a selling zone. This is a selling zone. So within 1 day from today, we're going to enter into a selling zone for gold, right? So tomorrow we're entering a selling zone. Buying zone is this red zone at the bottom. When both of the indicators are at the bottom, this is a buying zone, a very clear buying zone. This is a buying zone as well. This is also a buying zone, selling zone. And that's it. Use those zones to make decisions in the market. No need to go into risky trades. No need to do any leverage actually. You can simply go up, down, slowly, simply, without letting anyone to liquidate you, without telling anyone how to use your stop losses, right? You simply use time-based cycles. That's what Strategy Master basically gives you. That's what I developed. And of course, you get buy and sell signals that are coming to Telegram, that are coming to the SEM arena, signal strength score, and many other stuff. It's good. It's great to have. It's great to learn that. But the cycles is the golden part. And with that, you also get access to all the articles that I do. And these are in-depth articles about cryptocurrencies, stocks, metals, basically everything. And these are very, very useful. You want to use those. You want to understand these zones of interest. I know it's not some ICT. It's not something that, it's hard to interpret. It's very easy and everybody actually can interpret it. So if you don't have access, get access as fast as possible. And the other thing, use the BitUnix link in the description down below. I have a BitUnix link. Also, the Nightbot is sending you messages with the BitUnix link. It gives you access to in my opinion, the best cryptocurrency exchange today. Without KYC, nobody asks any questions. Plus, you get the bonus if you use my link. You get 33% on fees, discount on fees. You pay less fees and you can trade stocks, metals, and crypto. That's it. You can also do leverage. You can also do spot positions. And if you buy spot, always I recommend buy it on the exchange, put it into your wallet, right? Never hold your money on the exchange. That's never, even if it's BitUnix, even if you trust an exchange, don't do it. You don't have to do it. If you trade leverage, for me, it's much better than Hyperliquid. I just like trading on BitUnix. It's very, very easy, very simple, and it gives me access to bunch of assets. All right, now what do you use for the liquidation maps? I use CoinGlass. CoinGlass is pretty cool. It's free. You can just use it and get access to all of those clusters. And we can clearly see the cluster for Ethereum is at 1,837. Okay, the biggest cluster. In total, we have more than 4 billion liquidations for shorts and only 800 million for longs. What does it mean? It means that there are many longs open in the market, and they would get crushed. They would get liquidated if the price decides to go lower. So if the price goes lower, longs will get liquidated. And that's what happens in the market. Market always liquidates the majority of the people, right? You can also look at different statistics. Usually 70 to 80% of traders lose money. Why they lose? Because they use high leverage, right? So we have a lot of people who have liquidation price at 1,832. So if the price happened to go there, and I believe it will go there, well, majority of the traders will get crushed. It's very temporary amount of time when the majority of traders win. Very, very temporary. Majority of traders, they always lose money. So you want to be on the winning side. And you have these tools in your hands, really. You don't need much more. That's for Ethereum. And you can actually use it for any coin. For example, XRP is pretty interesting to me. The chart should be very crazy. The chart is... Oh, I cannot get access to the 6 months. Well, that's fine. You can get the Prime, maybe. You can take a look into that. Or you can use the APY, actually. I can also put on our website. Look, so here we have a big liquidation cluster at 97, 98 cents. So you see, same thing basically. Everything is hinting that we're going to see a reversal for most of the coins. And most probably we're going to have a reversal for most of the coins. Europe is closed. Okay, Europe is closed. So basically we can take any European stock, right? For example, Deutsche Bank. Yeah, oh, that's a good one. So, the European market is closed. Deutsche, this was a great buy. Oh, damn it. Missed it. Just by a few days. That was a great buy. God damn it. You see, you have access to the Cycle Scanner Pro. If you get access to the Strategy Master, it gives you access to the Cycle Scanner Pro. You will see these buy signals right here, and this is beautiful. Daily cycle bottom, 4 hour cycle bottom, 8 hour cycle bottom, 2 hour cycle bottom, 1 hour cycle bottom. Wonderful. And 1 week is not really going up, to be honest. It's not really going up, so it's a riskier trade. Anyways, you go here to the regular and you can click extended. On the American stocks, you can select 24 hours. On the European stocks, you can only select extended. Extended basically shows you the extended trading hours. And right now we have extended trading hours actually right now, right? We can click. Yeah, it's post-market. Market is open for post-market trading. It will close in 1 hour and 3 minutes. So basically market participants can still trade this asset. Okay, although the regular market is closed. And here, the cycles are different. You see, here we already have 2 hour cycle at the top, 1 hour cycle at the top. So here even the buy signals are different. So again, I suggest you not to change it and simply use the regular. Use the regular to understand where the market is actually at. You will see the indicators showing the real deal, the reality. Okay, that is what you use. Now, for you can use 24 hours. You're going to get much more buy and sell signals, much more short and buy signals, but then you have to really be aware and filter those out. If you don't filter, then you're going to get wrecked. But the regular ones are the most accurate ones. This is the most accurate one. Sell means short, we go down. Sell means short, we go down. First sell, we didn't go. Second sell, we go down. Okay, so you enter once, you enter twice, and then you go down. Shorting is usually more profitable, except if we have a crazy bull. When do we have a crazy bull? Only at the very top of the weekly cycle. You see here, it behaved like BTC, right? The stock, bam, up by 17% at the very, very top. And from there, down, and no bullish action for 40 days straight. That's what happens, right? But that's why I use the cycle indicators to understand what's going next. Okay, Honda, you wanted to take a look at US 30. Let's take a look at US 30 before we actually wrap it up. We have a shorting signal right now, but we have a daily cycle going up and we have a weekly bottom. So I would not short the Dow Jones. I would simply wait for a short retracement in the best case or accumulation range and then enter into a position. Okay. So 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, these guys gonna go down for the next few days. Looking at how bullish the asset is, I don't really expect a big retracement. Most probably gonna stay at the same price level. And then once the 4 hour reaches the bottom or 2 hour reaches the bottom within the 1, 2, 3 days from now, Wednesday, we have roughly Wednesday. So 2 days from now, that is when you wanna enter. That is when you wanna enter Dow Jones. Yeah, we can check Sol as well. Okay, that is cool actually. I like this one. Dow Jones we could trade together. Now let me come back to the 1 day, because when I analyze assets, I always like to take a look at the 1 day chart and not cold, but you want to add the cycle indicators that you have access to. So you add at least 3. So you have at the daily, at the 3 day, and then at the 1 week and 2 weeks. Now we have 1 week. Wait, is it similar to S&P 500 where we have the 2 weekly cycle going down? Let's take a look. 2 weekly cycle is same thing. So Dow Jones, very bullish, continuation up, potentially new high, and then a bigger retracement or one more high. Dow Jones looks very decent. See here, when the 2 weekly tops, the market still carries on. So the same happening here. But basically 2 weekly tells us, okay, now we're entering the last stage of this bull market. 2 weekly has stopped right here. We are still bullish. We're still going to be bullish until this 1 week pushes up. So for the next few weeks, for sure, we're going to be more bullish, but that will be then the top. Okay, so 2 weekly cycles telling what is coming next. What is coming next? That's what Dow Jones is about to do. So I don't see a trade right now, except that you wait 1 to 2 days and then you enter a long position. I would not short right now. I wouldn't short now. Okay, we want to check Sol. Again, these cycle indicators, you can apply them everywhere on every single asset, right? Now, Solana went above the previous high, but closed below the previous high. You want to do Fibonacci tool from the high in January to the low. Sol is quite interesting. We tried going above this level once, twice. Now we managed to do it. We could go a little bit higher into the 105 to see a final rejection there. Okay, it's a tricky chart because I was very bearish on Solana at this daily top. However, we printed big candles and we closed above, showing the strength of Solana. This was very hard to trade. This was, for example, from here, you would not expect to go bull. You wouldn't expect, I would expect you to enter here because we were at the bottom. But if we are not at the bottom, you don't want to enter. You don't want to really enter into the middle of the trend. It's already too late. But now, daily goes below 20. Bam. Bam. This is very probable for Sol. Of course, you want to go to the 1 hour, understand what's going to happen on the 1 hour chart. 1 hour is where you take the final decision to enter. You remove. Yeah. We have a buy signal. So the Cycle Scanner Pro indicator said, okay, buy. After that, Solana already went up by 2.5%. You could even close it. You see, these buy signals, they're really nice. You could even enter when it says buy and then set a take profit at 2%. This is what I'm doing sometimes. Or same with the short. You enter into a short. Here, for example, we only went down by 1.6%. So for shorting in the bullish markets, first of all, you don't really want to do it. Second of all, many times we go down by 2%. Also, we go up by 2% after the buy signal is sent. Here, we went up by 3% already. Nevertheless, 1 hour gonna go down, this guy gonna go down. We will have probably one more high. Same for BTC, same for Ethereum, same for every asset. Okay. Crypto gonna follow each other. You see, the cycles of all cryptocurrencies are almost the same, the biggest ones. The ones who are not following are ones like Tron, TRX. They're not really following, they're different. Well, here also looks very similar, pretty similar. Look at these buy signals. Guys, you have to trade TRX. We have to trade. Look at every single buy signal is highly profitable. Every single one of them. I'm just taking a look now. This one, awesome. Well, not awesome because 4 hour cycle was going down, but I mean, you don't have to trade the sexy asset. That's what I want to say. Not the sexy asset. This is not sexy to trade TRX. It's boring. It's damn boring. But if you can have a win rate of 90%, you try and you do it. Buy signal, but after this buy signal, yeah, nothing happened yet, but will happen. So these assets move a little bit different. But here, for example, we don't go by 2%, we go by 1% or 0.7%. If you apply a little bit of leverage, we can actually have really nice trades. And shorting, remember, shorting you do at the daily tops. When one day goes up, bam, short. Wait for the daily bottom, long, any of them. All of them highly profitable. All of them. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Actually, we went through all the assets that I wanted to go through. Remember Strategy Master, remember Bitunix. Bitunix, really great place to trade. Also, you have access to the SM Arena, basically where you can see my trades. You can see trades of our cycle traders in the group. Some of them, they're very good. They're outperforming the market. They're outperforming me, which is awesome. I'm very happy to see that. So join the SM Arena, and for that you need API keys on your Bitunix account. I can help you to create it. Use the liquidation map to really find out where we might go next. And of course, join the Telegram group of Strategy Master. This is where we actually talk every single day about what is happening in the market. Thank you very much for watching. See you in tomorrow's live stream. I hope I could help, and hopefully we're gonna make a lot of money this year. So watch the upcoming live streams, and we will enter really good trades in the next ones. See ya. Ciao, guys.